Witam szanownych widzów, szanownych czytelników mojego bloga. Sytuacja, moi drodzy, jest tak już dość niebezpieczna dla Polski, że musimy się bronić w jakikolwiek sposób i jednym ze sposobów, oprócz tego, co w poprzednim filmie proponuję, czyli bojkot wiadomego kraju, jest propagowanie prawdy, kręcenie materiałów, robienie materiałów w dwóch językach, najlepiej w języku angielskim, tak jak mówiłem, w 3 filmach, jak protestować. I tutaj będzie po tym mojej takiej preambule film, który będzie w języku angielskim w formie werbalnej, w formie opisowej, czyli będą napisy, i w formie napisów w języku polskim na pasku przebiegającym poniżej. Instrukcja do obsługi tego filmu. No, najlepiej jest to otworzyć okno na full rozmiar, oglądając ten film, wtedy jest wszystko ładnie, pięknie widoczne. Napisy w języku angielskim, napisy w języku polskim, nawet są napisy w języku rosyjskim, które tam opisują pewnego rodzaju sytuacje. Film jest zapożyczony z zaprzyjaźnionego konta jednego twórcy. Źródło tego filmu w całości, bo film istnieje w całości, będzie podane w stopce Pokaż Więcej. Jest materiał po prostu do dyspozycji waszej i możecie go w takiej formie wrzucać, linkować na wszelkie fora internetowe, tam gdzie po prostu język angielski będzie zrozumiały, tak? Także pozdrawiam i zapraszam do obejrzenia tego materiału. Materiał jest naprawdę nawet dla ludzi w Polsce bardzo dobrze zrobiony i bardzo dużo zawiera informacji, o których się po prostu w tej chwili Polakom nie mówi, pomimo tego, co się dzieje. Także proszę, zapraszam Was do obejrzenia.
Lonely Poland is attacked diplomatically simultaneously by Israel, the USA and Ukraine. January 2018 will be remembered for a long time. It was at that time that the biggest image crisis of our country started in the history of Poland, initiated by an unprecedented attack on the part of Israel dissatisfied with the new Polish law. Now, the Polish state of satellite Israeli, or the USA, joins the critics of Poland and indignant with sanctions for glorifying Nazism in Ukraine. Israel gave a sign, like a flag, to make a frontal attack on Poland, and this took place, beginning with the insulting speech of the Israeli ambassador Anna Azari, which took place in Auschwitz. The Israeli government has decided to suddenly attack Poland and Poles as responsible for the Holocaust. Some Israeli politicians directly admit that the phrase Polish death camps is justified. We learned in this way that there are many cases of anti-Polonism in Israel. The diplomatic crisis on the Poland-Israel route is still ongoing and even escalating. According to the latest information, Israeli ambassador Anna Azari was called by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for consultations to Israel. The facility in Warsaw will probably remain vacant. This is perceived as the next level of inflammation of mutual diplomatic relations. It is meaningful that Poland remains inactive. Fearing against the use of anti-Semitic batons, even protests against the Israeli embassy were forbidden, because as we know about Israel, it is only allowed to speak about the deceased, i.e. either good or not at all. Most likely, the departure of Ms. Azari means that Poland has lost the chance of expelling the ambassador and making her persona non grata, which would probably have been done by every serious state in the past. However, our fear-paralyzed politicians have not yet recovered from the shock, and from Saturday they did not get any retort against Israel. They slowly fall on the knees and bend their heads obediently awaiting punishment. It seems that it is planned to face the voters and at the same time satisfy the demands of the heads from Israel, with the help of a presidential veto for this bill. If even PIS and Duda play such a crib and end up with a veto, it will be obvious to an average wage voter that it was due to the wish expressed in an unreasonable blackmail by the power of Israel. President Duda's veto will simply mean that Israel won and showed our politicians where the place is in line. However, even such an expected act of submission from Poland to Israel will certainly not end the diplomatic conflict that is already going on for good, because it is completely different to this unfortunate law. Slowly people begin to realize that what the libertarian environment has been saying for many years in Poland, about Jewish claims to the non-quarried property of Poles of Jewish nationality, is not a symptom of anti-Semitism, just a statement of fact. Now that everyone can see that we are entering the final phase of this operation, one must be aware that the American Senate Act 447 gave the green light to the beginning of its last phase, which we are currently observing. The ambassador of Israel admitted in one of the last interviews that this diplomatic attack by Israel on Poland is not only a matter of the act on the IPEN, but also the issue of a reprivatization act. There is a diplomatic dispute in this matter, but it has nothing to do with the explosion that was on Saturday, admitted Ambassador Anna Azari. Manifesting unconditional love for Israel and Ukraine, Polish-speaking PIS politicians must remain in a state of constant shock from Friday. Suddenly, it turned out that the party is desperately trying to do something about the demand for money scapegoat for Poland, formulated already in 1996 by representatives of the conventional Holocaust industry. The Polish law on the IPEN has already troubled the US government. The American Foreign Ministry expresses the hope that Poland will bow under Israeli demands, and that Polish-speaking diplomats make a good face to the bad game, suggesting that they will explain the cause of this misunderstanding in Washington. However, this is completely unlikely, because in relations with the US we show similarly far-reaching servility as in relation to Israel. We are also beginning to hoot Americans who demand us to be submissive to Israel. Threats of the State Department are a bit ridiculous, because what kind of sanctions can the US introduce to us? Perhaps as part of retorts, they will introduce visas for Poles. Or they will order the departure of our army from our country, which is supposed to protect us from something similar. Now it turns out that the best thing is to protect the US army stationed with us. The Ukraine is also joining this choir of shouting our country on the international arena. The only legal Nazi country in the world. In Kiev, he did not like the fact that the Polish Sejm introduced sanctions for propagating Ukrainian Nazism, or flagging. This criminal ideology led to the bestial murder of 150,000 Poles in Volhynia and Galicia. Therefore, the Ukrainians connect with indignation to the Jews, and they feel strong because they have a sense of being a protectorate of both Israel and the United States. If President Duda turns out to be the endic of the President of Poland, not Poland, then the glorification of Ukrainian criminals will still be allowed in Polish law, and the Ukrainians will sneer at us in the face. Fortunately, the Poles are slowly beginning to detect in what situation our country has found itself, surrounded by enemies from the neighborhood and from the seas and oceans. When you look at the development of events, you can believe that people who rewrite the history of World War II will soon tell everyone that the Poles have caused it. A similar rhetoric has also been heard for a long time from Moscow. As we continue to do so, we will come to the conclusion that, according to official history, it will be claimed that the Germans entered Poland in September 1939, but only to save Polish Jews against anti-Semitism common in our country.